Welcome to the Wyoming Women's Business Center's Dream Builder course, which I am facilitating. My name is Christine Langley, and I'm happy that you all have joined me this evening on week number 2. Congratulations for making it to week number 2. All right, we're going to start off with some quick information about the Wyoming Women's Business Center because it's possible that I have some new attendees on the line tonight. Some people were playing catch up from last week. So just real quick, the Wyoming Women's Business Center is a nonprofit organization. We work with individuals that want to start or expand small businesses in the state. Obviously, we have a focus towards women. We do our work through 3 distinct programs: business training and counseling, which you are now a part of tonight; our microloan program, which offers loans anywhere between $500 all the way up to $50,000. And that's for people that have been denied from a traditional lending source. And last but not least, our Professional Artist Development Center, which we run in conjunction with our Works of Wyoming store in downtown Laramie. All right, so the Dream Builder program is all about helping you write your business plan. And this is a 6-week facilitated course, which will be followed by a graduation celebration for those of you that finish. And incorporated in the Dream Builder program is a business plan tool. And so if you've already started the coursework, which hopefully most of you have, you've noticed a few questions popping up while you're in the individual coursework. And as you answer those questions, you're actually building your business plan. And so I recommend that you dedicate at least 3 to 4 hours per week, in addition to our 1-hour facilitated Zoom meetings that we have weekly to answer any questions that you might have, to recap what you've learned in the last week, and then give you a preview of what you'll be learning for the week to come. And the reason that you need to dedicate that time is not only to watch the coursework, but also do any background or research in order to come up with the answers to the questions for your business plan. So as you know, we started last week. This week is week 2. And so in week 1, you should have covered telling us about yourself, starting your dream, and exploring your dream. I know some of you are already working ahead. Bravo. You may have already gotten through planning your dream. In week 2, I'd like you to cover planning your dream and making your dream. So for right now, we're going to talk a little bit about what you learned in the last week. And I'd love to get our chat box going a little bit so that I can see who is here tonight and also understand a little bit more about you. So I want to start out just having you throw in the chat, what is your business or your business idea? I have somebody that, some people that are in the pre-venture stage, and so you're just working on idea formations. I have other people that have been in business for several years. And so I just want to get a sense of who's in my class tonight. Do we have ideas for yoga teachers or in-home daycares, or is it some kind of a technology business? Just give me a general sense of what your business is. And I'll give people a few minutes to type into your chat. So hopefully you guys are familiar with Zoom. On Zoom, your bar is either at the top or the bottom of your screen. And there's a little chat box there that is next to a Q&A. And so if you'll just type in for me and let me know what type of business you're in. It looks like we've got craft products, so that's a product company. Looks like we've got real estate. It's primarily a service business. Custom clothing, again, another product business. Employee assistance, providing financial counseling for small businesses. Excellent, that's a service business. Organizational and leadership consulting, great, another service business. Terrific. Thank you, everybody. So it gives you a sense that we have a wide variety of business types on the call tonight and working through this program. The great thing about Dream Builder and the great thing about writing a business plan is the same things apply regardless of what type of business you're in. Even if you're running a nonprofit or looking to start a nonprofit, really the same information applies. Looks like I've got a design and import fabrics from India to make apparel and home accents. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So again, more of a product business there. So you can see the differences and the uniqueness that this program can bring. And I look forward to reading some of these plans. It's going to be fun. It's what I do for fun. believe it or not. Okay, so I've got a couple more poll questions for you. I'm going to launch this one. This is a similar one to what I talked about last week, the stage of business that you're currently in. And again, this is anonymous, so we don't see what stage of business you're in on the poll. Pre-venture means you haven't launched yet, right? You're just in the idea formation. So I'm just giving you a little business lingo there. You can tell people that you are pre-venture. Sounds kind of sexy, right? Early startup is less than 6 months. First growth or startup first growth is if you've been in business under 2 years, and then established would be anything over 2 years, maybe looking for a growth plan. Okay, terrific. It looks like tonight we've got kind of 50-50, 50% pre-venture, 50% under 2 years. Often when people are looking at writing a business plan or trying to complete some business planning after they've already launched their business, it's because maybe they realize that they didn't do a complete job to begin with. And so they're feeling like they need to kind of go back to the drawing board, maybe pivot a little bit and do some things differently in order to help them grow beyond the stage that they're currently at. So if that is you, welcome, welcome. And it looks like I did have somebody pop on and say they're an established business. Okay, I'm just going to share these results out so that you can see who's on the line with us tonight. I will send this out as a recording, so anybody that was unable to join with us live will be able to see this on their own at their own pace. And as you've already discovered, the DreamBuilder program is also at your own pace. All right. Terrific. I'm going to do one more poll here, and this is just to give me an idea of demographics. So age range of everybody, kind of where are we at? I put you in big, broad buckets here, 18 to 29, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 60 to 70. Believe it or not, I had a ton of seniors that like to launch businesses after they kind of retire from their traditional day jobs. So I'm always surprised at how many seniors I work with at the Wyoming Women's Business Center. And quite frankly, they're a lot of fun and they're typically my best students. Not taking anything away from the rest of you. And in case you're wondering, I'm in the bucket of 40 to 50. So that's my demographic. All right, thanks for responding. Go ahead and end that poll and share the results. And you can see we've got a huge variety, a huge age range here, which is even more exciting because we can really learn from each other. So excellent, I love seeing that. Okay. And then last but not least, guys, I'm going to do one more poll. Bear with me as I poll you. And I'm just always curious about this. We'll talk about why in a little bit, but I'd like to know your marital status. Again, this is confidential. Nobody else is going to be able to see this. Never married, married, separated, divorced, or widowed. Where are you guys at? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, looks like we've got a little bit of everything here. Terrific. We're going to talk about that a little bit more when we get into the impact that entrepreneurship can have on your family as well as your community. So thank you for answering. I don't think I need to share that one. We'll just keep that between us. All right, guys. So thanks for sharing your business idea. That gives me an idea of what I'm going to be reviewing going forward. And so let's dive into the content that you reviewed last week, or maybe even this morning, depending on when you like to do your homework. So starting your dream. What were the most important factors for deciding whether to follow a dream or starting or growing a business? So if you feel like sharing, I'd love to hear it in the chat. If you can give us a sense of what some of the important factors were. I can tell you in my own serial entrepreneurial career here, as well as my husband's, the first time that we started a business was basically because one of us got terminated from our job, and it wasn't me. Not that I've never been terminated, because I did get terminated from a high school job, believe it or not, for sharing my opinion. They should have known right then and there that I was going to be a troublemaker and an entrepreneur. But my husband did get let go of a position, and he came home and said, you know what? I think I can do this thing, and it'll be better than getting another job, because apparently I don't work well with others. And that was the beginning of our first business. So sometimes it's out of necessity And other times, it's because we just need a change or want something different or decide you want to be your own boss. I've got some answers coming in here: quality of life, very good; amplifying your impact, financial freedom, that's a great one; being your own boss, right? I always say, you know, entrepreneurs don't really like being told what to do. That's why they're entrepreneurs. So it's a delicate balance when you're coaching entrepreneurs, because they left their day job, so they wouldn't, you know, have to take direction on a daily basis. So I try to ask powerful questions and let most of the answers come from you and from your own ideas. I've got location on here. Yeah, being location agnostic, that can be really beneficial, especially if you've got an online business or a business that is flexible as far as location. Okay, terrific. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. All right. Do you remember the rewards and challenges that entrepreneurs face? So this is just something that was covered, talking about some of the challenges that entrepreneurs face and then some of the positives that can come from entrepreneurship. It's easy when we first start talking about starting a business to think about all of the great things that could happen when we start a business. And often we sort of push aside what some of the challenges might be. So I think it's just important to have a balanced view of what business ownership is like. And I can tell you that through the years of owning several different businesses, I'm really tuned in to what the challenges are. And each time I start a new business, it's harder, to be honest with you, because I know more, right? I'm more aware of how difficult it's going to be and what the challenges are that I'm going to face. I'm a little bit better at it each time because I'm more experienced, but at the same time, I'm a little bit more weary because I know exactly what is going to be required. Okay, somebody else says being on your own, responsibility for all the decisions and the outcomes of those decisions. Yep, makes a lot of sense. And I've got somebody that said, I can't hear for some reason, trying to follow along. We'll check if you can't hear me, this doesn't help, but make sure that your speakers are on your computer. And if you need to, you can always call in on the Zoom call and that might work too. Let me just type in here, call in on the Zoom phone number if needed for sound. Okay, hopefully that will catch that person. Okay, great, thanks. Learning about customers and competitors. So you really learned the difference between customers and competitors, and you might have started to think about some of the competitors that are in your space. This sort of naturally happens when you're looking at starting a business. A lot of times the reason that people are looking at starting a business is because they see a hole in the marketplace, or they have an experience with a competitor that is negative and they think, God, I could do that better, right? And there births the business idea. So sometimes you just have sort of a natural competitive analysis that is happening in your mind when you go to start a business, but hopefully some of this education has helped you think about your direct competitors versus your indirect competitors. One of the businesses I had about, gosh, we started in 2010, so more than 10 years ago, we had an ice cream company. And originally we thought, well, we're in the frozen desserts because we want to provide everything from gelato to ice cream to, you know, Italian ice, maybe some floats, possibly milkshakes, right? So we were thinking we're more of a dessert company than really an ice cream company. But when it came down to it, we were more ice cream. The reality is anybody in the frozen dessert industry ended up being a competitor, right? Because we happen to have a food truck. If a yogurt truck was next to us or a gelato truck was next to us, it really didn't matter that we had ice cream versus gelato versus something else. If it was something cold and it was a frozen treat, then we were competing with the people around us or next to us. And so again, direct competitors versus indirect competitors, those are all things that you want to think about. And so when you start that analysis, you can start doing some market research. And so for market research, this goes into asking some powerful questions about what's happening in the market. And I always want to look at boots on the ground type market research versus academic market research. Okay, what do I mean by that? What I mean is The market research that means something to you the very first year that you start your business is really what we want to know in order to get you to year 2, versus the academic market research. And you may have heard this type of market research, something like, well, let me pick something. You're going to make candles. The candle market is worth, $3 billion a year in the United States. And if I'm able to capture 0.002% of the candle market, I will earn X number of hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? This is academic market research. It's possible, I guess, and it might be true, but it doesn't tell us how you're going to win in the first year of your business. And so the market research that we're more interested in is the market research associated with where you are technically going to be selling your products and services, right? Because the likelihood of you going nationwide in the first year of your business is slim to none, unless you're planning on getting some venture capital. Right? Most of us are starting micro enterprises, small businesses for under $35,000 with definitely less than 5 employees. You might be a one-man show. And so the market research needs to speak to the type of business that you're forming, not a massive industry that you have no intention of capturing. Okay, last but not least, you were asked to think about laws and regulations that might apply to a business idea. And so tell me in the chat, have some of you formed LLCs? Are you running as sole proprietors? Have you thought about this question as far as starting a business and kind of the technicalities or the things that you need to launch? So let me know in the chat. Are you an LLC? Are you a sole proprietor just running the business under your name? Have you thought about that? Looks like I've got one LLC, very good. Planning to form an LLC, but need to learn more about this. Okay, excellent. Somebody else says an LLC. So LLCs are popular. There's nothing wrong with an LLC, nothing wrong with an S Corp. It's most of those things come down to tax filings and are less about liability when you're talking about a micro enterprise. I am not a lawyer or an attorney. I don't give legal advice. And so I don't tell my clients you should go one direction or another. But when we talk about regulations and kind of technical things that you need to do in order to start the business, figuring out what business formation you're going to have is part of that. And so if you want some individual coaching on that, if you want to talk about that further, you can always reach out to me individually and we'll do that. All right, I had one more comment up here. I want to make sure that I cover this. It was really helpful to learn about differentiation and being sure my service stands out from competitors. Yes, absolutely. Anytime you're in a service really or a product business, you really want to stand out and differentiate what you do against someone else. Now, sometimes that's really difficult because the truth is you do the same thing, right? So referencing again back to my ice cream company that I had with my family, at the end of the day, I can say that we made the best ice cream, right, in Southeast Wyoming and Colorado, but to the average connoisseur, the average ice cream connoisseur, ice cream is ice cream. So I thought my triple chocolate and creme caramel was the absolute best and better than any other chocolate out there, but it's kind of up for debate, right? So a lot of what my differentiation came down to was my branding and the processes that we ran within our business in order to serve customers in the quickest time frame available, right? There were just a lot of things that I had to do to differentiate the service that I was providing when I delivered my product, and that became my differentiation. All right, next up, guys, we're going to talk about, did I skip a slide? Yes. Okay, we're going to talk about exploring your dream. So this was the next step. We learned about internal and external sources of business ideas. And so again, sometimes business ideas come from an experience that you've had. Sometimes you see something from the outside and decide you want to duplicate that, or you think you can do it better, right? So give me a sense of whether you think your business idea came internal or external to you. And you can just throw that in the chat for me. And while you guys are responding to that, I'm going to talk a little bit about understanding the importance of feedback and allowing people in on knowing what your business idea is, right? So one of the things I face with a lot of the entrepreneurs that I coach is, I'm just going to call it out, it's paranoia. Okay. I ask people what their business idea is, and they say, oh, well, I could tell you, but I want you to sign, this confidentiality document or non-disclosure agreement with me, because I don't want anybody stealing my idea. All right. So that can be valid in some circumstances, but in the vast majority of businesses and the vast majority of micro enterprises, the truth is the more people that know that you're thinking about starting a business, the better, right? It's actually pre-marketing of your company. And the more people that you talk to about it and the more feedback that you can get on your business idea, the more knowledgeable you're going to be. It's part of your market research. So don't be afraid to talk about your business idea. If you're afraid to talk about it, there's typically two reasons. One, you're scared of getting feedback and you only want good news, right? You don't want any critical feedback or information that might dissuade you from being passionate and doing what you want to do. Or two, you're a bit paranoid, right? Neither one of those is a good reason to not share information about your business. Okay, going back to my question about external or internal, some people are saying both. Another person said talking with other counselors doing the same work I currently do, and then have the desire to do something better or different. Absolutely. So you see, sometimes we see things in the marketplace and we realize, gosh, if it was just tweaked this way or that way, it would be so much better. This is the telltale sign that you have an entrepreneurial spirit. If you're always looking to optimize or you're always looking to improve upon something. So I always say there's two different types of business owners. There's, kind of the inventor type business owner. Back in the day, those are the people that were called entrepreneurs. They were disruptive to the market. Entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship has become such a buzzword over the last decade that now anybody that owns a business is considered an entrepreneur. I'm okay with that. I don't care about the vocabulary, but I do distinguish kind of between the two types. I will tell you that I am more of a business owner, right? I take something that already exists and I try to improve on it. And most of my businesses have been that. So if you're that person, awesome. You can be just as successful in business, sometimes more so, because you have a roadmap already to follow of people that have been there and done that, and a lot of opportunities to get mentorship around that. If you're a disruptor in the marketplace and you've invented something new or created something new, incredibly exciting at the same time. So I'm open to either. All right. Good, good, good. Do good in the chat there. So that was exploring your dreams. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that course as well. If anybody is behind for any reason, no pressure. You can go at your own pace. I'm just trying to get you through this process in 6 weeks. So if you weren't able to get to the first or the second course, then I just encourage you to do that, set aside some time, and in short order, you will be caught up with the rest of the group. All right. So I want to get a sense of where people are at that have joined me tonight. So what you have coming up is course 3 and 4, which is planning your dream and making your dream. But I'm just going to run a quick poll just to see where this group is at. And I know some of you, again, might be watching this on the recording, and so this poll doesn't mean anything to you. But for those that are on the line with me tonight, let's take a quick look. So select the highest course that you've completed. Is it the Tell Us About Yourself, which essentially means that you've started and you're here, and really that's what matters. So congrats. If you've completed course 1, Start Your Dream, then you're just a little bit behind, but I'm pretty sure you're planning on making it up this week. If you've completed course 2, Exploring Your Dream, then you are right on schedule. as far as my schedule is concerned. But again, it's your business. I advise you decide. So if you don't want to be on my schedule, that's okay. And then if you've completed course 3, that means you've completed planning your dream, and I'm going to mark you as an overachiever. Or maybe you were just confused because I said complete the first 3 courses last week instead of, because I kind of logged starting your dream or telling us about yourself as course 1 and then starting your dream as course 2. So I might have tricked you in working ahead, in which case I am not sorry, because now you're ahead and maybe you'll be ahead for the rest of the course. Congratulations. And then course 4 or above, that means you're just literally ahead of the class, and it's because you're really into this stuff. All right, great. Good job, everybody. I'll share that out so everybody can see that you are not alone. There are at least 2 people at the Tell Us About Yourself stage, another 2 people at course 1, and I've got 3 people at course 3, and then a few people on the line that just said, I'm not going to share, I'm not answering your poll, Christine, and I'm okay with that as well. Again, you're entrepreneurs. I don't expect you to do everything I tell you to. Ha, ha, ha. All right. Up next, planning your dream and making your dream. Let's talk about what that looks like this next week. It is your week 2 assignment. So planning your dream. This is where they're going to start telling you about what a business plan is and why you need it. I think all of you know why you need it, and that's why you're in this course, but they're really going to break this down and explain to you why it's a valuable tool. They're also going to review the different sections of the business plan. Now, I'm going to tell you, as someone that has reviewed a lot of business plans over the last 15 to 20 years, business plan templates can look different depending on what program you're in, but they all essentially give the same basic information. So even though you may be introduced to some sections in this business plan that are not in the, small business administration, business plan, or maybe a template that you got in college or online somewhere, it's okay. Don't get stressed about what the different sections are. Know that this is a complete business plan. It will absolutely be accepted by the business world. It'll be accepted by bankers. This business plan is going to work for a variety of different scenarios, but I want the business plan to work for you. That's why you're writing the business plan. You shouldn't ever write a business plan just for a banker or for funding because they tell you that you need it, or because you're working with a business counselor and they tell you that you need it. You should write a business plan because it's a roadmap of how you're going to be successful in your business. And it's a document that you can always come back to remind yourself, number one, why you're doing it, right? When things get really tough and some of us want to quit. But it'll also give you answers to some questions. We can't remember everything all the time. So sometimes you don't remember exactly, what that marketing plan was 90 days after you wrote it, and now it's time to implement it. Sometimes you don't remember what your sales projections were unless you put it down, and then you compare that to what your actuals are. So these are all things that are going to help you in actually managing your business. Okay. And Kelly says, yes, there was confusion at our house since Kelly thought he needed to complete 3 courses and I had the notes and was aiming for completing exploring. Yes, very funny. Sorry, hope I didn't cause any problems in the household. That's funny. All right, I was listening on his behalf last week and decided I needed to participate on my own. Absolutely. And I love family businesses. I love couples that go into business together. If you're partners in your house, you might as well be partners in your business. At least that's what I've always said with my spouse. And so I'm glad that you guys are doing it together. And you are just fine. I already have you registered in the class. And I got your application from WWBC. So you guys are good to go. And thank you for participating. All right, exploring how a business plan can guide the decision-making process. I think I already pointed to that as far as being able to go back to that plan and make good decisions. And then last but not least, how to use DreamBuilder business plan tools. So they're just going to explain that a little bit more, as well as any additional tools and resources with it that are embedded within the program. Now, I mentioned this last time. I just want to mention it again. You're not too deep into the coursework at this point. If you forgot or if you weren't doing it before, I want you to make sure that you're answering these questions on a Word document first and saving that Word document, and then just copying and pasting your answers into the business plan tool. And the reason that I say that is because the business plan tool, it's on the internet, right? And so I'd hate for you to write a whole bunch of stuff live into that tool, and then for some reason, there's a blip in your internet and it doesn't save for some reason, and you've lost that data or lost that thought, right? So just make sure that you're answering those questions in a Word document on the side, and copying and pasting. It'll just save you some headaches in case there's any kind of interruption in your internet or in the course software. All right, the course right after planning your dream is making your dream. And so this is where you're really going to differentiate between a product-based or a service-based business, or in some cases, you might be a combined product and service-based business. So going back to my ice cream company, we were both a product and a service company because we made our own ice cream. Looking back on it, I'm not sure if that was a good plan or not, because there were a lot of headaches involved in actually manufacturing a product. But we were certainly more passionate about our product because we were the ones making it in our commercial kitchen. So we were a product business, but we were also a service business, right? Because we were running a food truck, doing major catering events, as well as, big public events. And so there was a massive service component to selling our product. So we were a bit of both. So thinking about your business, I want you to differentiate and decide, are you just a product-based business? Are you just a service-based business? Or is there an opportunity to have both a product and a service side to your business? So I think I have some leadership coaches and some consultants on the line tonight. And I'm sure you're familiar that with other people in your industry or in your line of work, a popular thing to do is to write a book, right? Have a blog that turns into a book, and that would be a product. Maybe selling, t-shirts or hats or, other things that have your brand on it, putting on some kind of conference, right? There's all different kinds of things that you can do that might be more product oriented than service oriented. So think about ways to kind of expand your concept or expand your idea to see if you can have multiple streams of revenue. That always helps your bottom line, always helps to increase your possibilities of business if you can do a little bit of both. And then lastly, you're going to walk through all the steps and activities that are required to actually make your product or deliver a service. Because sometimes we skip some steps in our excitement. And so this business plan is going to help you really break all those things down to figure out what are all the different steps that have to get completed to actually deliver to the customer, whether it's a product or a service. And this can be a really beneficial activity that you do within this business plan tool. So I'm excited for you guys to experience that. All right, so now it is time for questions. I have a tendency to be thorough, so I don't get upset if people do not have questions, but at the same time, I'm here for you every single week. So if you have some questions, we're gonna get out of the chat now, and we're gonna flow over to the Q&A. So on your Zoom bar, the Q&A for me, it's right smack dab in the middle of the bar at the top of my screen. For you, it might be at the bottom of your screen, but you are welcome to start clicking in the Q&A and listing off any questions that you might have for me this week. But again, I emailed most of you in the last day or so. And so I am hopeful that if you do have any burning questions that happen during the middle of the week, you feel comfortable reaching out to me on a one-on-one basis, because I never want you to feel stuck. It's why you're participating in a facilitated course. And I'm usually good at getting back to you in a short period of time. All right, I'm going to leave that questions panel open for myself just to see if anybody has any additional questions. And in the meantime, I will tell you that the Women's Business Center is made possible through lots of different partnership agencies. Our primary funding comes from the US Small Business Administration, and then that federal grant is matched by the Wyoming Business Council. It's why we can bring this kind of content to you at no charge. It's a huge benefit to being an entrepreneur in Wyoming. I can tell you I am originally from California, and these kinds of resources at this depth and this level are just not available in states that are highly populated. So this is one of the benefits of being in a state that only has, a little more than 500,000 people. You have access to a ton of resources that are really high quality, in my opinion. Okay, this is my contact information. If anybody doesn't have it from all the emails that I'm sending you or from the last video that I shared with everyone. This is my direct phone number and this is my direct email. So again, please reach out to me if you get stuck, if you need a little motivation, if you have some specific questions. I'm here to help. That's why I'm facilitating this course. All right, guys, I am not seeing any questions. So with that, I will let you go for this evening and wish you all the best on the upcoming courses that you're going to complete this next week. And we will regroup again next Tuesday. All the best, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Bye-bye.